Hello friends, my name is Ankit Balvanshi and I welcome you all in the video lecture on the topic various factors affecting the runoff. So in the previous lecture we have seen that what is runoff and how the occurrence of runoff is affected by the various uh, factors, and we will see the first one as effect of basin characteristics. In addition to the spatial and temporal characteristics of rainfall, the physical features of the watershed also control the shape of the runoff hydrograph. Factors affecting the hydrograph include the drainage area, slope, roughness, storage, drainage density, channel length, and antecedent moisture conditions. So, drainage area or the watershed area is the area of a basin which is most important factor affecting the peak and the magnitude of peak flows. In general, a large drainage area implies a large peak flow. However, urbanization can modify this behavior. Slope. In general, mild slope produces less runoff volume and smaller peaks. The slope of the terrain affects the total runoff volume. If the slope is mild, the velocity of overland flow will be low and there will be more time of water to infiltrate, thereby reducing the amount reaching the stream. The slope of the channel affects the magnitude of the peak and duration of runoff. A steep channel produces greater velocity and allows faster removal of the runoff from the watershed. Therefore, shorter times to peak takes place. The slope of the channel affects the magnitude of the peak and the duration of the runoff. A steep channel produces greater velocity and allows faster removal of the runoff from the watershed. Therefore, shorter time to peak take place. Roughness. Roughness affects the velocity of overland flow and stream flow. A rough channel will cause smaller peaks than a smooth channel. For a given discharge, stage levels in a stream are higher for rough channels. Other factor is the storage. Storage can take place within the stream bed, floodplains, marshes, lakes, or in artificial features such as stormwater management facilities and reservoirs. Storage also takes place in the impoundments created upstream of road crossings. In general, storage reduces and delay peaks and increases the duration of runoff. Drainage density. The drainage density is a measure of the total length of well-defined channels that drain the watershed. Okay, so the drainage density is defined as the sum of the lengths of all the channels divided by the total watershed area. Okay, this ratio can be determined from the topographical maps or sheets. So drainage density affects the response of the watershed. High densities usually allow fast runoff removal. Therefore, greater peaks and hydrographs with shorter duration are expected for watershed with higher drainage density. The effect of drainage density on runoff volume is associated with the time during which the runoff remains in the watershed. Channel length. The effective length of a channel depends on the flow magnitude. Large flow overtops the bank and fill the floodplain, whose length is usually shorter than that of the meandering stream bed. A long drainage channel usually indicates a long runoff removal time. Therefore, longer channel causes a response to rainfall slower than for shorter channels. Channel length. Again, long channels also cause more attenuation of peaks due to storage and hydraulic roughness. Consequently, long channels cause low peaks and hydrographs of long duration. Antecedent moisture means the moisture which is present before the beginning of a storm or before the event of rainfall. So antecedent moisture is the amount of water present in the soil at the beginning of a storm. If the moisture content of the soil is high, more is the runoff because a smaller amount of water is required to saturate the soil. So these were the basic concepts which were taken as they affect the runoff procedures. Other factors also we can study like channel rerouting, vegetation type, hydraulic structure, urbanization. In summary, if the result is to facilitate the runoff removal, the effect will be increased peaks and shorter hydrograph durations. If the result is to slow the flow of runoff, the opposite effects will take place. I would like to thank you all for listening to me and stay tuned, keep learning.